So this video clip describes solving systems of equation problems from descriptions. We'll use some examples of nuts and fruit. 20 pounds of dried fruit mix contained pineapples worth $2.90 per pound and apples for $3.15 per pound. The value of the mix is $59.75. So how many pounds of each did the mix contain? Well, we know that the total is 20 pounds. So we could figure out the cost per pound. So let's write what we know. Let's call the pounds of pineapples P and the pounds of apples A. And we know that those add up to 20 pounds. There's 20 pounds of mix. And $2.90 times the number of pounds of dried pineapples plus $3.15 times the number of pounds of dried apples equals $59.75. Solving this one, so if I subtract A from each side, now this equation says P equals 20 minus A. So let's rewrite this equation below, but instead of P, let's put 20 minus A $59.75. Well, 2 times 29 would be 58, so that would be $58 even, minus $2.90 times the number of pounds of apples plus $3.15 times the number of pounds of apples equals 59.75. Let me fix that. 5. Ooh, that didn't fix much. Okay, so $58. Well, let's subtract $58 from each side. So that is $1.75. And that equals a negative $2.90 plus $3.15 per pound. That's the number of apples, the pounds of apples. So 315 minus 290 would be 25 cents per pound times the number of pounds of apples equals $1.75. Well, divide that by 25 cents. How many quarters in $1.75? That is 7. We could do that on a calculator, but we don't need to. So if the number of pounds of apples is 7, well, there were 20 pounds. So I take away 7 and I have 13 pounds of pineapple. So let's do that same thing with just a little bit different numbers. So peanuts worth $2.90 per pound were mixed with cashews worth $4.60 per pound to produce a blend worth $3.50 per pound. How many pounds of each kind were used to produce 51 pounds of the mixture? It's similar to that last one, except that we don't know the total cost. However, we do know the number of pounds and the price per pound. So we could go ahead and multiply the $3.50 per pound times the 51 pounds. Scoot over 1, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Add those up. Move there's 2 decimal places in that, so $178.50. So we'll write what we know. We know that the number of pounds of peanuts plus the number of pounds of cashews is 51 pounds. So let's subtract cashews from each side, and we have that pounds of peanuts equals 51 minus the pounds of cashews. And we know that $2.90 times the pounds of peanuts plus $4.60 times the number of pounds of cashews equals $178.50. Replacing P with 51 minus C, so we'll do 51 times 290. 5 times 9, 45. Guess that's why it's nice to work with a pencil when you're doing math. Carry the 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Add them up. 2 decimal places in there, $147.90. Well, let's subtract $1.47.90 from each side. Well, 50 cents take away 90 cents. We're going to have to borrow, make that $1.50 take away 90 would be 60 cents. So that means we had to borrow 1 from here, make that a 7. 7 take away 7 is 0. 7 take away 4 is 3. 1 take away 1 is 0. Okay, so we have, let's combine these two while we're at it. We have $4.60 minus $2.90. So if I make that $1.60 take away 90, that gives me 70 cents. So that would have had to have been a 3. 3 take away 2 is 1. So $1.70 times the pounds of cashews equals okay, so let's go ahead and divide by 1.7. 1.70 is the same as 1.7. We'll run that on a calculator. 30.6 divided by 1.7 tells us 18 pounds, because C represented the number of pounds of cashews. So C equals 18. Well, for the peanuts it was 51 minus the 18. 11 minus 8 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. 33 pounds of peanuts. 18 pounds of cashews.